Wow. Oh. It's gone really well. I really like it. I'm really happy with it. He'd kick the arse off your friend if you caught him. We're going to do a Bosco on the model. We're going to bring it around. We're going to take pictures of it in different locations. I'm going to show you pieces of footage of it later on. But for now, I got this little gadget today. So let me explain. We built two beacons for the lighthouse. One uses a normal 5mm LED and the other one uses a COB LED. And what we were finding was the 5mm LED was giving a really nice flash, but the COB LED was a lot brighter and looked a lot more authentic to what a lighthouse might look like. So I did some homework and I found these little fellas here. So this is called a TIR lens. So that stands for total internal reflection. You can see it's shaped here like a tulip. Some people actually call these a tulip lens. Now what happens is when the light is emitted from the LED, it's reflected off this conical shape and then it's focused by the little lens in the center. And what it means is it takes this LED which outputs the light at way over 100 degrees like this, which is a big wide angle, and it narrows it right down. It says that it narrows down to 5 degrees, but I mean, we'll see. It should hopefully bridge the gap then between the flash from this one and the power from this one. So I'll go ahead, I'll make a new beacon, we'll stick in the lens and we'll see what difference it makes. Just press the button, turn the light out and see how it goes. Wow. Wow, that really is a lighthouse, isn't it? Oh, that's next level. I don't know how well that's going to come out on camera, but it really is like a little beam. That's cracking. Just off of the build plate now, I have one of the most important parts of the whole build, and it is of course the lightkeeper's house. This had been printing while I was sleeping. In previous episodes I had said that we were going to base this model lighthouse off of Portland Head Lighthouse, and honestly I had intended to, but along the way we had made a few little departures. Along the way, this little shed here, this electronics room here in Portland Head Lighthouse would have two windows and then the door. And I only put the one in and then I put this anchor on. And it had started to become really, really Irish. You can see it starts to really look like a little traditional Irish cottage. So I was speaking with my partner and we decided, why not do a proper nod towards the cottages that you'd see on the island, do a proper tribute with the whole model, and also a tribute towards, or a nod towards, the inspiration for the original, which was Song of the Sea. So I did change the design. I have moved away from Portland Head and moved towards a traditional Irish, I don't know if you could call it a cottage because it's 1.5 stories, right? But a traditional Irish home. I really like it. I think it's come out absolutely beautiful. And it really is reminiscent of the houses that I would have seen as a kid. So I'm very happy with it. There's a couple of things I need to figure out. So the way that the bottom is attached is, you can see here, these are where my threaded inserts are going to get inserted. I need to figure out how to get these into the model and these too. So I'll go in and figure that out. I think what the key will be is to attach the roof to the model. So we can have a look at that now. Let's try and get the roof on. Beautiful. Okay, that's really nice. Okay, I think the key will be if we make a little cradle for the roof, then we can turn it upside down, sit it into the press, and then it'll be supported. I think that's the key. But let me go away and take away these supports, tidy the model up, and then we'll see how we're going to press in our threaded inserts. Cool. Oh. Okay. Thankfully they are there. Let's switch off the iron. Now I can take the roof back off. So that's gone pretty well. That's the 4 threaded inserts in. It's ready to be attached to the base that it will be attached to, and the floor is ready to be attached. So, oh, great. Okay, we can move on. Okay, I may as well try and get the easier windows in first. So these windows aren't going to be lit. The front windows are. These ones aren't. I mean, in the future we could light them if we wanted to. I left a bit of baby fat on the Vero board so that we could put LEDs on it if we wanted to, but for now we did not. Let's get this window in. Great. Really nice, isn't it? Okay, let's get the porch windows in. Make sure we have the right ones first. I wouldn't do to put some glue onto the wrong ones and then figure it out when it's too late. Okay, let's get some glue onto these. Now, that's our 2 porch windows and back windows in. Okay, the next 2 front windows are going to go in a slightly different way. These windows are going to go into little light boxes that diffuse the light and hold the LED obviously as well. So let's get it into its little light box. Now, there's one front window done in its little light box. Let's do the other 3. Honestly, these are similar to the windows that you'd see on Fanad Lighthouse, which is in Donegal. I'll show you a picture of it now. It's a gorgeous lighthouse, and you can stay in some of the cottages attached. Now, it's quite expensive, but it is absolutely beautiful. It is doable. Okay, that's our light boxes glued up. Next, I'm going to give them a chance to dry and cure. We'll get them into the model. Okay, now let's get the light boxes in. only one more light box now to do, and that's all the windows in. Really great work. I'm going to try and get a layer of UV resin around the inside as a weather guard, but we're almost there. One more to go. There we go. There's our last window in. Great. Really beautiful. What do you think? One more thing I want to add to the front here. I designed a little bulkhead light, like you see on the front of most Irish houses, if I'm honest with you. But I decided to build a little bulkhead light, and that's going to go right there above the light. Let's get this little fella in. Most important part is that it goes around the hole, because that's where it's going to stop the water ingress. Because yeah, water really is the enemy here. Okay, there's our little bulkhead light. It's gone really well. I really like it. I'm really happy with it. I really do think it looks like a little Donegal cottage. Before we add the chimney, let's see if it interferes with the roof going onto the model. Okay, it doesn't. That's fine. Okay, let's add the chimney. There it is. Got a little chimney. Now at this point we can put the roof on. So let's grab the glue. I lit the beacon the other night, a couple of nights ago. I lit the new beacon that we made with the lens on it. I lit that beacon out in my garden a few nights ago, and this is not an endorsement or a recommendation, but when we were children we used to play this game long time ago. We used to play this game that I'm sure is a game that most, if not all, children play at some stage. We played this little game called Knock It On Dolly, and it's where you knock on your neighbour's door and you run away before they answer the door. And of course you'd find the most reactive people to knock on their door, and at times what we used to do is we'd get our friends who'd be like, hey Michael, go knock on John Joe's door there. And of course John Joe would be the most reactive guy on the street, and he'd kick the arse off your friend if he caught him. But when I lit the beacon the other night, it was so bright and it travelled so far in the garden that it brought back the feelings that you get of Knock It On Dolly. I was like, oh my god! I was like, run away! But then I was like, no Jamie, you know, we're all grown up now, we can't just knock on the door and run away. So I'm going to need to find somewhere to place the model. Either we can put a weaker beacon on, or I need to find some place to place the model that's not going to disturb the neighbours, because to be fair, they're lovely people. We got on really well with them, and I don't want to be disturbing them. So yeah, that was the story with that beacon. I'm really happy with it. Super bright. When you compare it to the very first beacon, the one that I bought for Seamus's cottage, I mean, that just had like a reflective ring inside in it, which it would spin around and it would just reflect the LED, whereas this one obviously will spin around the LED, and because it's magnified then as well, it's ultra bright. So yeah, we'll get to see that shortly once we've the whole thing put together, and yeah, we'll make a decision on should we put in a weaker beacon or maybe find somewhere in the garden that blocks it from the neighbours or something. But Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm really happy with it though. It's easily the prettiest model I've made, to be honest. And that would include the ones that I built over Christmas for the streetscape, which, to be fair, I'm still really happy with. That was a really beautiful model, but I'm super happy with this. But yeah, we're ready now to put the roof on. I better be quick because this glue does set very quickly. So let's set the model down. Now I'll go into the inside and make sure that the dormers are pressed up against the roof. Okay. Let's put our dormer roofs on. Don't need to go cracked with the glue. Very nice. It's starting to really become a house now, isn't it? Beautiful. Look at this. It's really pretty, isn't it? We had this little kid in the last place that we used to live in, and he was playing that game, that Knock It On Dolly. And of course, he'd do it at the same time every day. You know, when the kids are going home from lunch or home from school or whatever, they, you know, on their way home, they play their little games. And this little kid, anyway, he was playing Knock It On Dolly on our door, and I got used to, you know, he'll be knocking on the door there now. It's 1:30 or 2 o'clock or whatever it was. And this one day I decided that I'd wait behind the door. And of course, the kid knocks on the door and I just opened it, and there he was standing. We didn't know what to do. So I was like, alright, go on your way. He didn't do it after that. Which in a way I'm sorry about, because, you know, kids are just having a bit of fun, right? But I mean, I didn't scold him or anything. I just said, go on, go home. Okay, there's the roofs on. Now it's really becoming a 1.5 story bungalow. Very happy with it. Let's get the decorative pieces on. Here we are. Okay, I need to print off the ridge for the top of the roof and the decorative part for the gable end. I'm not sure what that's called. Let's look that up. But I need to print that off, get all that together, and then we're ready to attach the door, the step, the plinth. Great, that's come out really, really nice. Okay, let's install the door. There we have it. You can see it's a little half door, look. That's why there's 4 hinges like that, 2 handles. Okay, let's give that a minute to dry. And then we can do the back door. There we go. How pretty is that? Now I have to be careful when leaving it down because I don't want it to get glued to the table. That would be tragic, wouldn't it? Right. We can now attach the ridge plate and the barge boards. Here we go. We're coming so close to the finish now. Very little left to do. Once we've the ridge plate and the barge boards on, all that's left to do is hook up the solar panels. So let's get the ridge plate on. There we go. There's the ridge plate on. Next, we'll get our barge board on. Okay. There's our barge board on. Last 2 pieces. Then we can attach the house to the electronics room and get the solar panels attached. It's kind of bittersweet putting this together because it's really cool having this model put together. It's a beautiful model and I'm very proud of it. But at the same time, I very much enjoyed building it. So I don't know what to think, because on one hand we've got the model, it's beautiful and we can light it up and look at it in the garden, and then on the other side it's done. So yeah, I don't know what to think about it yet. This is the wire that hooks up the lights in the house to the circuit board. Once this is hooked up, we can light the model. This is the solar array we built for the model. I just built it to look similar to the arrays that you'd see adjacent to a lot of the lighthouses in Ireland. So they're just hooked up in series with one another. What that means is the voltage will stay the same. It will give the same 7-volt output, but the current will come up, so it'll be able to charge the battery. Should be able to charge the battery a lot quicker. Obviously, you need a big array like that in Ireland because the weather's not always going to be with you. Let's get the little Allens in it. This will be great once this is done because I can actually put the model outside and let it get a charge, because it's just been using up the battery in the last 7 episodes that we've done. So it'll be good for it to get a charge. I'm wondering whether to speed this piece up or not, because you can hear there's a wren in my garden. That's him there. There's a wren in my garden, and he's been singing us beautiful songs since the very first episode that we did. He's been singing us really nice songs. I really love it. I love the spring, I really do. So this is it, the last piece. It's been a really great journey getting to this point. I'm really happy that we went with the traditional Irish cottage instead of Portland Head. Although, to be fair, Portland Head is genuinely one of the most beautiful lighthouses in the world. I think in keeping with replacing Seamus's cottage and the stories that we've been telling along the way about Tory Island and my own past, I think this fits it much better. So let's get the roof on. It's the last little piece. As I said, I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know, I've mixed emotions about this because it's been a really fun build. I've really enjoyed building it. And honestly, I've really enjoyed doing the show as well. And I don't know, I'm going to miss this particular project. But on the other hand, it'll be beautiful to have it out in the garden and watching over us, right? That little tribute towards Julie will be out there and looking over us, which will be very beautiful. But I don't know. Let's put the last piece on and then we can get it lit and I can show you the whole model. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. What I'm hoping from this whole build is that you get to think about what you'd like to do for yourself, whether it be make something or make a lighthouse or do a little project or even make a chronicle of what you're doing for yourself. That's the idea of the channel, is to just give a little vehicle for you and I to have somewhere that we can go and build beautiful things and get away from the world for a while, because at the moment we really need to, right? So yeah, thank you for your company. So let's light it up. Let's see what the whole model looks like. And then we'll bring it on tour. Which brings me to a really funny story. So those of you who are Irish, and if I'm really honest, probably around my age, will know what I'm talking about. Years and years ago in Ireland, there used to be this show. It was called Bosco. it was an absolutely crazy show. It was for children. It was this little puppet that sat in like a Jack in the Box. You'll have to look it up. It's too bizarre to kind of describe. But in the end of Bosco's run, somebody got into the RT studios and stole the puppet. And they brought the puppet around Ireland and took pictures of it in different locations in Ireland. So we're going to do a Bosco on the model. We're going to bring it around. We're going to take pictures of it in different locations. I'm going to show you pieces of footage of it lit up. But for now, let's get it lit up, have a look, see what it looks like. But that's the model. That's it completed. Okay, let's press the button, get it lit up. Then we can bring it out and see what it looks like out in the wild. Wow. Isn't that so beautiful? It's finished.